Let's unpack those figures now with Nesan Nair from Sasfin Securities. Nesan, as always, many thanks for your time this afternoon. So the JSE closing around 1/3% in the green this afternoon, retreating from some of the movements we saw in early afternoon trade. What would you say were some of the big catalysts there?
Yeah, Rafi, it was good evening. It was not a very busy day, I think. There wasn't that much activity. And I say that against a backdrop of very busy Mondays we've had for most of this year. I'm not sure whether the midweek holiday has anything to do with it, but the Rand was in a very tight range. There wasn't much in the way of company news. You're right, some of the industrial shares were pushing the index a lot higher during the course of the day, but that seemed to have fizzled out as the day progressed. And I think with no new news, for investors to latch onto, the activity kind of fizzled out throughout the course of the day.
Right. Let's speak about the companies that did come out with some updates. Alexander Forbes releasing their results. Not bad for the reporting period, Nesan. But I think one of the important things to highlight here is that they're getting rid of their life insurance business and they're selling that to Sanlam.
Yeah, so remember Alex Forbes, for quite a few years now, since they re-entered the JSE, they were, remember, not so long ago, they were held in private hands and they listed, coming to the market and telling the market that they were going to now focus on their core strategy, which is really pension fund administration. They sold, a few years back, you'll recall, they sold their short-term insurance business to Momentum. And now they sold their group risk and life insurance business, which is basically a life insurance a sales business to Sanlam. It's obviously not a big deal for either Sanlam or Alex Forbes, but I think it does solidify their commitment to maintaining their core focus, which is that institutional pension fund business.
Right, and then Pick n Pay, some important news actually, Nesan, coming out that they have had an agreement with the Competition Commission around the exclusivity of leasing, something that has been a fight for a number of years now. And I just want to get your thoughts on the opportunities that this agreement will open up for smaller players.
Yeah, so this was, agreed on with a lot of the big supermarkets. It was deemed that they could not have these exclusivity clauses in their lease agreements, which prevented smaller businesses that from entering these malls that competed with them. And by smaller businesses, we're talking about, small bakeries, small butcheries, small flower shops. Anything that Pick n Pay sold could not be competed against in these malls. And I suppose that was inevitably going to be decided to be anti-competitive, and we've seen that. Similar thing happened at ShopRite last year as well, Massmart a few years ago. And now the opportunities exist, for small, we call them mom and pop businesses, owner-run businesses, to compete with these large supermarket groups head-on, differentiating themselves with their products, with their pricing, with their customer service, and you can actually open up a store like that next to a Pick n Pay in a big shopping mall without fear of violating any of their contractual agreements.
Yeah, huge win indeed for those mama and papa stores, as you've named them. And then finally, Nesan, let's speak about Sasol. Now, they've confirmed that they've completed the sale of Secunda air separation business to Air Liquide. And this is after the deal received approval from the tribunal, that was earlier this month.
Yeah, so, Sasol obviously committed to shareholders in the last 12 to 18 months that they would try and reduce that debt level, and they included as part of that achieving that strategy of lower debt levels that they were going to sell some businesses. This was one of their big businesses that they sold, and it obviously needed to go through Competition Commission. It's now successfully gone through, all conditions have been met, which means it's a green light for the deal to go ahead. Sasol will be paid money for this, and those proceeds will be used to pay down their debt, I think alleviating some of the stress that Sasol shareholders have experienced in the last 2 years.
A lot of stress that they have experienced indeed, Nesan. That is Nesan Nair from Sasfin Securities giving us a wrap of the market performance this afternoon.